that, there we go. And also that for folks who couldn't join us, because we had a few of those. Okay. Great. So nice to see everybody. Some names I haven't seen for a while, so nice. Good. Okay. Lauren, if you want to get started, I will keep admitting folks.
Thanks, Sharon. I don't know if you noticed, I was also admitting, so you're probably like, what the heck, these are.
I did. I was like, it's magic. How is it that, yeah, how is it like I'm not clicking fast enough, but we just had 5 more people come onto the call. That's
and you didn't even do anything to get them.
It's crazy. I don't even have Mitch with me, who's usually my, you know, who everybody knows Mitch. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
There you go. Well, hello everybody. Let me just figure out how to make, you know, that little bar is in the way. There you go. Oh, wait a second. Why is it? Okay, somebody who knows PowerPoint better than I. Adriana, what am I doing wrong? Display settings. There you go. Figured it out. Thanks, you guys. So like Sharon said, everyone, welcome. We're at 100 people right now, which is amazing. I'm going to go through, the plan for today is to go through a little bit of what San Diego Gives is, kind of the plans, all the little pieces, all the running committee work and all the things we're working on to make it a really great year, and then to have plenty of time for questions. I know some of you are already registered, some are not, and so we really just want to make sure you brought your questions, that we can get them all answered and you feel great about making a decision to register. So we'll just get going for the sake of time. So what is San Diego Gives? Just a little bit of background. This is our 2nd year. This is taking me flashbacks, Adrian, I'm sure for you as well, of doing this last year when we were brand new and had no idea what we were doing. Now we have slightly more, no, just kidding. So the idea came around December of 2019, right after Giving Tuesday last year. If you're a part of Fundraising Friday, the discussion started there. If you're not a part of Fundraising Friday, you should do that. And so the discussion was with a whole bunch of other fundraisers as to what would make sense, you know, like, have we done this before? Could we do it? Could we do some kind of regional day of giving? And from there, it just became a group of about 12 of us that started meeting, decided we could do it, got a logo, got a website, did all of that to set it up. And last year we were able to raise $472,000. The goal was $500,000. So we got very, very close for 107 nonprofits. So this year, oh, I'll go through that in a second. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Wanted to point out that we are an all volunteer team. So which is amazing, because I'm sure everyone's been on volunteer teams before, and we just work really well as a team. And it's really a great accomplishment to have that many community volunteers throughout San Diego working together for this. And I did go out of order, but I just wanted to make a point. There is no real, for San Diego Gives, if you're already registered or not, there's really no requirement outside of setting up your page, right? Is registering and then setting up your page. And we'll go through more of that later. But we do have something cool this year called San Diego Gives University, which we'll speak more on. It is 20+ classes available for free and opportunities. None of them are mandatory though. So I just wanted to make that point, that we're not asking you to sit through 25 classes. That would be crazy. So this is just a breakdown of last year. I talked a little bit about the I said 471 that was raised, and some analytics about largest single donation was $10,000 to an organization last year. Total donors were about 2,400. Highest hour of giving was at 4 o'clock. We did have some matching donations from a sponsor last year. So those were the highest hours, of course, of money raised were during those matching hours. And this 87% of the donor paid the fee, the platform fee, which is great. And real quick, this is the steering committee we had last year, the nonprofits that were part of the steering committee last year, and then ones that are part of the steering committee this year. Again, these are just the organizations where volunteers on the committee are working at. Sharon?
Sorry, I was responding to Felix. There we go. Sorry, I was responding to Felix's question in the chat in that we are going to have these slides available, and we'll also have the recording posted online. So you will have access to all of this. So, so the return on investment is, we just kind of wanted to draw some attention to this in that, all of the organizations are, you are investing your time, some energy. Of course, there are a lot of things that we could be doing with our time and lots of priorities. And you also have all paid a or will be paying a registration fee. A word about the registration fee is that the amount of the fee came out of feedback from nonprofits, mostly folks, who participated last year. And I'm just going to close my okay, sorry, I'm going to close my email. Okay, folks who participated last year to see what could be a manageable amount for folks to pay. And so that, and then there was a feeling too of having there be a modest fee so that, not all of the funds needed to be fundraised. So, okay, so that's where that comes in. There's a lot of great things about this campaign. I'm so excited about it. And that's why I'm kind of like not being as articulate, but that, so the real, crux of it is really to raise awareness for your cause and for your nonprofit. And, participating organizations are going to be part of this terrific mosaic of other nonprofits to really show what are the needs in San Diego County and what is being done to address those needs. And of course, you all work in all of these different fields with expertise in a whole bunch of different areas, and that's what we want to showcase. And crazy enough, we're all in our worlds and we all think, well, gosh, everybody knows what we're doing and, or we know what we're doing. But what San Diego Gives is really, who that's really for is this, also the donor community. I talk about it as the, the person who stands in front of me at Vons and is asking about places to donate once we talk about kind of like, what do you do? And so it's really just spreading the word. And so you will, the idea really is to focus on attracting new supporters for your organizations. It's a great way to energize your current supporters with something new and that you're part of all of this. Particularly for some of the smaller organizations that might not have as much capacity for doing a crowdfunding campaign or doing a lot of public relations. We completely get that. And we'll talk more about how there's going to be a lot of support provided, but by being part of this, you will be kind of swept up in this movement where all of that support is available. And opportunities to partner with, other nonprofits. Also San Diego Gives University is, as Lauren said, we have 25 plus online workshops. We kept them online, and that is on purpose because nonprofits are all over the county and we didn't want to make it hard for anybody to get anywhere. And we have we're getting them accredited with CFRE CEUs. So those of you who are tracking for that will be able to use these for your application for AFP. We are working hard with matching donations, and we'll talk more about that later. And during the whole time that you're working with San Diego Gives, you will have access to Mighty Cause also. So if you want to do, you're already in as far as paying the platform fee. So now I am looking at the chat and I am going to see why how I can extend the number of participants. So
thank you, Sharon.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you, Sharon. We'll keep moving. It is Impact Cube's Zoom link or Zoom, so they'll get that figured out. Thanks for everyone for sending those notes. Some really great goals this year is we plan to serve, so last year we had 107 nonprofits. The goal here was about a little over double. So the goal is 215 plus nonprofits to be a part of the day today. And as of today, it was 214. Actually, that was like last night, so it's 215. Okay, we got to keep it moving. Last year, the goal was to raise $500,000. This year is 2 million, which sounds like a massive jump. Everyone I talk to makes that face of like, oh, okay, like that's insane to go from half to 2. But some changes we made this year of we do have a fiscal sponsor. Oh, looks like she fixed it. Thanks, Sharon. We do have a fiscal sponsor of Impact Cubed, and that's Sharon Goodson's from Leach Check Foundation's involvement in today's presentation is that partnership with them, which is amazing. Last year we had about 3 months to plan, maybe 6 tops with getting stuff set up. This year we had 12 months. We're also doing this really great in-kind sponsorship with a lot of organizations to send out emails through their communication to their donors. That's a huge piece as well. And this year we actually hired a professional PR public relations consultant to help with our PR and media outreach. So that's why I feel like that $2 million goal is reachable. The goal is to engage over 4,000 donors, of which at least 30% are new, and enhance the donor engagement opportunities through San Diego Gives University. There's some donor engagement activities that can be done there, and have donors actually come to workshops that are specific to them. We did submit trademark paperwork, which is super exciting, to trademark our logo. We had an attorney donate the doing of it and the paperwork cost of it. So it was $0 to us, which was amazing. We're just waiting for it to come back. And another great goal this year is we're doing a birthday kickoff celebration July 16th, which is the birthday of San Diego. So the idea is, in lieu of gifts, like when you have a birthday and you're like, hey, don't send me money or gifts, send the money to Coastal Roots Farm. Sorry, Christine, you're on my screen. So the idea is the same, right? Is like, hey, in lieu of gifts to San Diego, give that gift to San Diego's nonprofit. So we're going to push a handful of events throughout the county, really market it far and wide for people to come to those. And we'll talk more about that later, but that's a super exciting opportunity as well. I'm going to pause for a brief second, see if there are any questions before we keep going. Intentionally wanted to make sure we paused throughout so there wasn't like an hour of talking and a ton of questions. Anyone have any so far? Okie doke. We will continue. And of course, you can keep putting them in the chat for sure. Christine.
Hi. So I'm here to talk a little bit about our registration. We, like Sharon said earlier, we split this up between the budget size for a year for each organization, and that was after receiving feedback from last year. Do not look at the early bird, please, because that finished at the end of March, but we do have the regular registration open through May 31st, and it only went up $25 for small, medium, and large. So if you've not registered, please look at the budget size and pay the fees accordingly. And if you have any issues on paying that fee, please reach out to us and let us know.
Thanks, Christine. To answer, Nancy, your question in the chat, and I apologize, I didn't speak to this, and this will probably answer your question completely, is July 16th is really the start date to early giving. So, very important, I should have brought it up. My apology. But essentially, July 16th, that birthday party is like a launch party to launching San Diego Gives, and any money received January 16th and on through September 8th will be a part of that September 8th number. So yes, that would be a great time to start asking for funds and for gifts to go towards your organization. Absolutely. So as of right now, if you go on the website, there is no, and I can show it here in a minute, but there's no find your cause button or start to, because it's not open yet for that. But when registration closes into May, everything gets situated in the system. And in that July timeframe, people can go in and say, find your cause and give directly to you, to you that way. Okay. This next slide looks like it got garbled on the download of the spreadsheet, so my apologies. We wanted to give out, again, full volunteer activity and the question that Sharon had about, the cost, the platform fees, or sorry, not the platform fees, the fee that you paid to become has been a question like, hey, like, why am I paying a fee? Those fees, we wanted to show you what the campaign expenses were, as well as what those nonprofit fees go to, which is to help cover our public relations and advertising cost. So some of the campaign expenses, you can see here. I don't need to go through all of them, but for example, I'll go like Mighty Cause here, the platform fees in the middle. There's a cost, of course, to use the platform itself. Last year we paid half of that, actually less than half of that, and then had a higher percentage cost because we were new and had no budget, let's just be totally honest, and had a higher number cost percentage come out of donations, as part of that donation. This year we maxed out as much as we could, which was $5,000 to have a lower fee. So we're paying more. Gives is paying more out of pocket so that your fees are less from donations. And another thing I just wanted to point out is the matching incentive funds, which are in red and underlined. The goal of a lot of over half of our budget, or about half of our budget, was to go towards what we did last year, which was that $10,000 in matching funds. The goal would be, to over triple, quadruple, whatever 7 is, to go massively above and beyond what we had last year and have much more money to go towards matching than we did last year. Another question slide. Any questions?
I'm going to also interrupt everybody. Unfortunately, we are not able to change the amount of people that we can enter into this right now. I feel really badly about that. But so if you have colleagues, those are my colleagues trying to figure things out. If you have colleagues who are trying to get in, please give them our big apologies, and we will make sure that everybody has the link to this ASAP after this. We could stop the whole meeting now and give everybody a link, but then I think that's not gonna, I think that we're gonna lose more people than we should do that. So,
Sure.
All right, live and learn. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Questions in the chat from Julie and Megan. Julie, the matching funds, at least that 75K, would be matching funds towards the campaign as a whole. So what we did last year is there was a power hour, and it was any money raised up, all money raised up till $5,000 because that's how much we had last year. So in the 4 o'clock hour, if you got a donation for $50, that matched it to 100. There is another place on the website as well where you can have your own match and put your own match in your profile, where then if somebody gives to you specifically, they hit that match as well. So some people last year were tripled, right? If it was during a matching power hour plus you had your own match going on, $50 could be, $150,000. Or sorry, $150. Sorry, that's a very large match. And then the second question for Megan, where do matching funds come from? Yeah, the goal has been that they're coming from sponsorships that we're getting, and we can, Adriana here in a minute, actually right here in a very quick second, can speak about the sponsorships that we have received. Adriana?
Sure. And Lauren, there was another question from Michelangelo about how will all the 250 plus organizations be represented during the promotional campaign. So wanted to ensure that we answered that.
We have some advertising media slides here in a minute. If we can answer it there, that would be great.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into sponsorship, and also, give some kudos to begin with. So, as Lauren explained, this San Diego Gives is very new in the community. It was really Lauren's brainchild to have this wonderful movement, which is what I think it is truly, to really highlight all of the great work that all of our nonprofits do within San Diego County. So Lauren, and it's just flourishing. So another thing to point out is, I really love that San Diego Gives is transparent on how funding is being utilized to support and grow the campaign. So this is where sponsorship, this slide in particular, connects with the budget. So we are trying to raise $124,500. To date, we've raised $71,000 through 14 sponsorships, which is above and beyond what we were able to do in our first year. I think in the first year, we had maybe 15,000 with one title sponsorship at 10,000. And so Lauren explained that we were able to utilize that contribution, that sponsorship for Power Hours, which really benefited all of the organizations that were a part of San Diego Gives in 2021, because it encourages to give to their particular cause a chance to get it doubled. So that's how that worked. So we're still looking for sponsorships. We really want to get to that $124,500. It will benefit all of the organizations that are a part of San Diego Gives in 2022 because of that Power Hour line item budget. We do have a sponsorship menu, and we'd be more than happy to share with you. There's different tiers. We are still holding out for a title sponsorship, and there's a list of benefits that are attached with each tier. Obviously, the more you give, the more prominent your logo and your name is attached to the campaign as a whole. So we'd love your help. Again, what benefits one will benefit all. And we would really appreciate if you do have any warm connect, if we can approach them together and make the pitch for San Diego Gives, and in turn, you know, obviously make it a benefit for all of our nonprofits. I think I have more slides, right? Yes. So here is who we have on board, our sponsors, our allies. We have 14 to date. And again, you know, this slide looked very different from last year. So we're grateful for all of the steering committee and those outside of the steering committee that were able to contribute towards this beautiful slide. Shout out to Sharon, Lauren, everybody, really. But there's so much more to go. Again, that 124,000 is really what we're trying to achieve. And we also have in-kind sponsorships, which is the next slide. And so we have in-kind communication sponsors as well as media partnerships. And we've really tailored that to benefit San Diego Gives, but also to benefit the donor. So they look a little different based on what their needs are and what ours are too. Again, if you have any connections that you think might be a good fit for San Diego Gives, please feel free to send us a note, and we'd be more than happy to and reach out together. Thank you.
Hey, so I'm Christine again, and I am a co-chair of the nonprofit committee. And the nonprofit committee was formed to basically help all registered nonprofits go through the process through San Diego Gives and make sure it's a great experience. So one of the new things that we started this year was for new small nonprofits to be matched with other small nonprofits who have done this last year and felt they had a successful experience. Before Coastal Roots Farm, I worked for a small nonprofit called FACE, and we were very successful, and we used a lot of the tools that were given to us last year. And sometimes it's hard to find those tools. So really finding those mentors that can really help you find those good communication toolkits and things like that. We're also here for technical assistance for any platform setup. If we do not know the answer, we will make sure we get in touch with Lauren or Mighty Cause and make sure we respond to your question right away. And we're also created a resources page, and that's with the communication toolkits, all the pieces that you need to make sure you're successful on your San Diego Gives Day, whether you're a small nonprofit or a large. So that is the nonprofit committee.
Thanks, Christine. I have another one of those pesky white question slides, and I'm wondering if anyone has one. In the meantime, I'm just going to pull up, if I can pull up, there it is, the website to show you what Christine and what Sharon and stuff, some of the spots on the website to find these things. When Christine was talking about resources, There's the nonprofit toolkit, which, like I said, if you participated last year, it's literally a document that's like, here's what to do when, and here's the hashtag, and here's a photo, and here's the logo, and here's the style guide. So it was a really great document. On the website, it actually has a whole bunch of, not to overwhelm, so please, I'll say that in before I scroll, but has all kinds of things that could be useful about using the platform. Like I said, here is a video, next step after hitting register. How do I access, different tools, peer-to-peer fundraising guide. And at the bottom, it's got, like I said, logo, social media, email signature, etc. In there as well is, and we'll talk more about this next resource, later on in the campaign, but there's a business toolkit. So if you have a business who loves you, they can put a giving page together and send it to their employees to do employee giving. That's also new this year, which is great. And then San Diego Gives University. Again, not to overwhelm, but there are a ton of opportunities for everything from courses to office hours, which is really just, you can pop in and say, hey, I'm working on it, I have a question, and we answer it and you get back off Zoom. So it's a great way to get questions answered. It's a big scroll. So all the way, we have marketing office hours to talk about marketing ideas, networking together. I mean, really, you could do one or all of them or whatever in between. Any questions before we resume? Oh, poop. I did say from, nope, that's still the current slide. Sorry, go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, no, I was going to say too, have we been, I was, in my little tech turmoil a minute ago. So I think because there have been a few questions that have come in from the chat, have they all been addressed?
It looks like besides the last one.
Okay.
How do we get up? Yes, set up with a mentor. Megan, are you Neuro? I think you're already registered, right, Megan?
Yeah, I'm registered. Mm-hmm.
I should have sent you an email. Have you gotten a confirmation email that you're like confirmed registered?
Yes, I think so. I'll just double check through that and see if I can find the mentorship sign up. And if not, I'll follow up with you.
That'd be great. And that info at San Diego Gives is like the go-to for any of the things. And then actually I'm going to put in the chat to the Mighty Cause support email. So it's like, there's two emails. One is like, I have questions about San Diego Gives specifically, or how I can support or how I can help. And then the support would be any platform issues. But I've been trying to, when we approve, the nonprofit committee receives on Wednesday a list of ones that need to be reviewed. They're approved by Friday. And then on Friday, when they're approved, I send out a small mentorship. So Jessica, okay. So I should have got you one, but if you, like I said, did not get one, just let me know.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll keep on it. I think we only have a few slides left and then question time. So one thing is social media. We do have a Facebook, a Twitter, a LinkedIn, and Instagram. And they need your help. They need you to like them and share them and like post and share post. Like I said, we'll get to later kind of how what that looks like with PR and advertising for the organizations in the group. But I would like to take like 10 quiet seconds for you maybe to go click over and actually go to Facebook and put in San Diego Gives and like it, and go to LinkedIn. Last year we joked about it, like do it right now, but like, yeah, no, let's really do it right now. Maybe somebody on the group can even put the links directly in the chat so that everybody can help in that way. One cool thing to this one right here was here in the middle is one of the things for July 16th for the birthday is AleSmith is naming a beer after San Diego Gives, and any proceeds from the beer that are sold for 4 weeks comes back to San Diego Gives. So that's pretty awesome. So that, yeah, just as an excitement of this one here in the middle. Miss Hannah?
Yes, hi, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right, so I am new this year. My name is Hannah Jaime. I'm the executive director of Helping Pause. Before that, though, for a long time, I was a TV news reporter. So I know there's a whole lot of work that goes into making a PR pitch and actually getting it on air. So if you have a smaller nonprofit like I run, you don't have someone on staff to do that. So the good news is that we've actually hired an experienced PR professional from Bloom PR to promote the overall campaign. This is someone who works directly with local outlets throughout the year, and she's going to be working to garner coverage behind the scenes, especially on those high profile platforms. We're talking digital, print, broadcast media. She'll also be working to secure coverage for nonprofits to support your various missions, which is exciting news for you guys. You'll get direct help with communications toolkit. Someone mentioned it earlier, but I found it very useful last year. I mean, it has the templates, logos, fonts, colors, messages, just right at your fingertips. So if you are short on time or staff, you can basically just drag and drop it. Also gives you a great starting point if you want to work on one yourself. You can also get direct guidance. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But some story angles they'll be working on is one that was sent out, registration being open, of course. And then the San Diego Gives University, which you heard about earlier, that's new this year. And nonprofits uniting, as well as hyper local giving, the July 16th kickoff event, and then Give By Interest and Impact. If we can just go to that next slide, we'll talk about campaign goals. So increasing from the number of participating nonprofits from 107 to 250, and we are well on our way this year. As for publicity goals, shooting for 40 news stories in 6 different outlets before September 8th. And in addition to 20 stories on 6 outlets on September 8th, we're going to do it so before and on that date as well. So what you can do, someone had asked about coverage, what you can do is you can start compiling videos, sound bites, anything that's really compelling, that truly showcases your work. Get those together and you can start sending them to us. That will give you a better chance of being highlighted, of being showcased. And I know last year when things would pop up, media opportunities, we reach out to the different organizations to figure out who is able to participate in those interviews. So keep talking to us, keep tagging us. We'll continue to share yours. So kind of the more you put into it, I think often the more you can get out of it. If we can hop on over to the next slide. Oh, one more thing before I do that. One thing we need to mention, great opportunity. If you do need that additional support, the firm's going to offer some PR counsel to brainstorm ways to harness coverage. So be sure and register for those office hours, those webinars, sign up. That's all going to be on our website, but that's something you'll definitely want to take advantage of if you can use that assistance there. And so now we can actually hop on over to the next slide because go ahead.
Oh, sorry, real quick, Hannah, before you move on, there's a question in the chat about, would it be possible to add some graphics to Canva? It sounds like a really intellectual question that I don't understand. But I think what you're saying is, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. So you might have to explain that, but whatever it is, I'm sure we can do it. And that sounds great. And we'll for sure do it. Is that not an appropriate response? Gretchen, can you explain? Okay, maybe in a minute. And real quick too, Hannah, before you move on, I just wanted that media webinar and the media brainstorm. To the question earlier about the promotion of the nonprofits, last year, that was a large challenge as to how to do that best. When you're talking 107 nonprofits, I mean, now we're even over double. So we're currently working on what that looks like and how it's going to be presented and how everyone can get involved. So the answer is, I don't have the answer yet, but it's a really important question that is a priority to answer. So that media webinar on June 15th, because a nonprofit, the deadline to register is May 31st. So 2 weeks later, we'll have a webinar to explain exactly that. Like, here's what we're doing, here's where to find it, here's where to go, etc. So yes. So I know about Canva. Is that Gretchen?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. So for example, Giving Tuesday often will send out a collection of graphics that are Facebook, Twitter designed so that you can upload those graphics and just kind of add your logo or something like that. And it helps you to customize a branded logo for your own purposes. It's kind of, Canva is kind of like graphic design for dummies, and it's so helpful for a lot of us. But all I know is that a lot of times, like, for example, Giving Tuesday will send us, kind of a toolkit, and it has all the Canva graphics that you can use. So
that's a great
idea.
That
might be helpful.
Yeah, Gretchen, you can help me with that deal. I'm just
sure.
Is it like the one that whoever smelled it dealt it, right? You are like whoever you have to.
Nose goes.
Thanks, Gretchen. Sorry, Hannah. You can go.
Yeah, no, that was an important one. And I wasn't sure if it was adding them on the back end of Canva, which is certainly something we could look into. But I think that the toolkit has a lot of those things that are just right in front of you. And, you know, the little messages and the logos, images, everything you need to plug into Canva, even the fonts. So, you know, the pound sign and all the numbers and letters, and you just plug that in and it's right there and you can get the colors to match. So we can look into that a little bit more, but absolutely that toolkit will definitely come in handy for you. Yes, San Diego's 252nd birthday is July 16th. You heard about that a little bit earlier. That's really going to kick off that early giving campaign. We are putting together 6 to 10 give back events throughout the county. We're going to be bringing people together for fun events and spread awareness about the initiative and all the great nonprofits in the community as well. It could also directly benefit you because proceeds from these fundraisers will go to our Love Them All Fund, which is distributed to participating nonprofits. So something you'll definitely want to be involved in if you're available. So far, we have a kiosk at the Padres home opener on July 16th we're excited about. And then Lauren mentioned earlier that for those of you beer lovers out there, AleSmith Beer is going to be selling a beer for a month spotlighting San Diego Gives. And it's starting that day. It's called Drink Local, Give Local. So if you need an excuse to drink beer, there's one for you. The proceeds, of course, will go to the Love Them All Fund as well. Other events that we're finalizing and we look forward to telling you about, but we're certainly welcome to any ideas you have, any connections for other give back events. We'd love to hear from you. You can also expect to see some online raffles with some great items we'll be giving away. And we're really doing it to just generate buzz about our efforts and garner social media followers for us, but also for all of you out there. So keep an eye out for those. If you have something to donate, we definitely want to hear from you. And that's about all I have, but please feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Sharon, I think this slide is yours. Do you want to speak briefly at the start of the slide about what Love Them All Fund is, since I don't think we did that?
Sure. So, oops, sorry. I've got our team all, we're not used to mistakes over here at, at the Leach-Tag Foundation. So we feel awful about the technical challenge with this. Anyway, okay, so Love Them All is a fund that we started last year and we're continuing it this year. And this is particularly for donors that may not have a specific cause or nonprofit that they want to support, but they just love the idea of San Diego Gives and they want to distribute their donation evenly across all of the organizations. The Love Them All campaign, as Hannah said, is going to be the recipient of the events that are happening on July 16th. And we're also fundraising for it considerably. So, and I've seen a couple of the notes also about match gifts. You know, at this point, and I probably missed it because I was looking at the other technical things, is that, you know, at this point, we have really covered the necessary operational costs of San Diego Gives, kind of the bare minimum. You know, there are other things in the budget that if we get additional resources, we will, you know, we'll do as we need to. But as you know, budgets are, you know, kind of the projection of what we really needed to set ourselves up for success for this. But we now, this next priority is, since we have that covered, is really to find funds for Love Them All and match dollars. And to really get those incentive dollars, you know, happening at different times during the day on September 8th. So anyway, that is just so, you know, stay tuned. We are going to keep doing that. So there is a lot going on, and we just wanted to make sure that folks had a couple of these, you know, sort of mark your calendar. The first 2 office hours that we have, and these are just informal times for you to talk to somebody on the steering committee, kind of in the know, are coming up April 28th and May 11th with those times. We have the first 3 workshops are here, you know, one on donor prospecting, and then Mighty Cause, as Lauren, I think, said earlier, is going to do a getting started with Mighty Cause and a talking strategy. All of these are going to be recorded. So, and we're going to have a library of those on the San Diego Gives University website, which Lauren had shown everybody a little bit earlier. So again, no pressure to go to all of these, but I keep saying it, it's also a big thing that I say at home, is just setting ourselves up for success the best possible way. We learned so much from last year's campaign and wanted to, as we will from this one, and kind of get ourselves organized for next year. So that's where all of this comes from. We really don't want anybody to feel at loose ends, that you're kind of wondering, you know, how do I do this? How do I make the most of this? And we know that your time is valuable, and we really want to make sure that you know, you can, you know, come in and work on this as your time permits. And so so that's what we have here.
Thanks, Sharon.
Sure.
I think this is the last slide before questions. Again, just if we haven't said info@sandiegogives.org enough, just in case, because I'm highly certain we have. But like I said, that would be a website, of course. I think everybody is on our email list. You should be, as you registered, you should have been placed on it. And one thing, just as a close up to the presentation, there are many things we're looking to do right now, as everybody said in the presentation. So if you have a good sponsor, a potential sponsor, if you have an idea for an event or some place for July 16th, like a restaurant or anywhere that sells things, we've been talking about jewelry and using the colors of San Diego Gives as a jewelry piece to sell that's specific to it. So anything like that you have a contact for, any kind of thing for outreach, any ideas like Canva, literally we're all ears as a community, you know, as a local volunteer community group to hearing that. Again, the social media tags again, because again, I just make sure you're on them all. And I will unshare for questions so we can see everybody's beautiful faces. Does anyone have any additional questions?
We did such a good job.
Hi, Lauren, this is Nancy. I wanted to ask a little bit more about the types of venues that you're looking for the kickoff events. Like how big, is it a public place like a restaurant or a store, or can it be more like an office type setting? What are you thinking?
That's a great question. I think the one thing I didn't add is the goal is to really make, again, we're talking about giving local. So the idea, and we're drinking local, is that they're local businesses. So we're really trying to push, this isn't answering your question completely, Nancy, but really trying to push for local businesses again, because you're talking about all the media outreach about that business too. So it's got this other goal of helping local businesses maybe get some new people that haven't. Yeah, I think we're open to anything. I think that info right, if you have an idea or something like, hey, I know this person that does that. Again, not totally answering your question, Nancy, but I think anything's available to talk about. I feel like I'm being like my mom who doesn't answer a question, like just goes around it, you know, like.
Well, that's
you're not.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks, Nancy.
Yeah, so I think also just kind of, you know, reach out to one of us and we'll talk, you know, I guess the only, so I'm the one kind of who pumps the brakes a bit from the back, is that, you know, we're looking at a bunch of different venues and they for July 16th and you know, they'll need volunteer representation, you know, so the Padres game and the brewery. And so it all sounds awesome and we want to do it all. And how, you know, that means we need people who which is a Saturday on July 16th, who can be representative and be trained and know what to talk about and stuff. And so we just need to be sure that we can kind of balance that out so that we don't get what is it? Your eyes bigger than your stomach or whatever like this. Yes. And to make it peer to peer. And so that is for sure. We had a question about volunteer match and sorry. Looks like I'm looking at the conversation here. Connections for volunteers.
Yeah, Diane, can you clarify your question if you're saying, so any connections to resources for volunteers to help participating nonprofit, can you clarify that? Or maybe it's like the Canva question and I should get it and I just.
Yeah, I was just wondering if anyone on the committee or anything has made any connections with any volunteer groups or anything to help, you know, to offer as a resource to participating nonprofits. In other words, help with, you know, everything that's involved with, you know, this campaign, with, you know, the social media stuff, with planning the campaign, with just everything that's involved. You know, there's always people that are interested in learning about nonprofit fundraising. And, you know, obviously there's different colleges in the area that you can connect with and stuff, but I was just curious if if San Diego Gives had any connections, if you've established any connections with any groups.
Thanks for clarifying that, Diane. No, we haven't, but that's a great idea when you're talking about, like you said, marketing type interns or something, but no, no, we haven't.
If I can jump in real quick, just something we personally use, Volunteer Match has been great, and you can set it up so you can have a certain event that you're trying to connect people with, and then, you know, you can put in there what specifically you're looking for, and it does help pair people who really want to help with the right organization that's a good fit for them.
Yes, Lisa, I was just going to see, I was scanning to see if Lisa was on the call. There you are.
So you don't have to go away to Volunteer Match. Hands on San Diego is local, and we're participating, and we connect volunteers with nonprofits. And we can, you know, we mostly do calendar projects where volunteers need people to show up to help with a particular event they're doing, or help serve food or whatever. But we can definitely put it out there. We can do everything the Volunteer Match does in that regard, and we can post it and we can promote it. We can do that. First time anybody's asked us to do that though, so give us a chance to work on how that would work, but we can do that. And it would be more of like a skills-based volunteer sort of thing, or somebody would work one-on-one directly with the nonprofit versus signing up for a shift. So I'll talk to Lauren and figure out how we make that happen.
I was gonna call on you, Lisa, next. So thanks for jumping in.
Thank you.
We missed a question about login credentials. Hands on San Diego is the name of Lisa's organization. You should have them. So let me figure out, and I can send out a message through Mighty Cause on how to get those if you don't have access to those. What else do we got? Well, I think, like I said, today is the first day of this, right? Because we still have to the end of May for registration. Like I said, June is when it kicks off. Then it's, you know, here are how to do it, and here's how to get started. Like I said, the Mighty Cause webinars, I would say go to all of what you can, right? But I would definitely watch the Mighty Cause webinars, because they're going to go through some of that. Like, here's how to set up a peer-to-peer fundraiser. Here's how to put a picture up on your page. Here's etc. They're going to go through all of that. And I was also going to say that last year we had some nonprofits that never set up their actual page itself. So this year we're going to have a cutoff to having that set up, because what happened last year is we had a lot of people emailing us saying, why do you have completely blank pages with nothing? And not only does it look bad to San Diego Gives, it looks bad to your nonprofit because you've got your name but nothing on it. And so the minimal we talk about for San Diego Gives to participate is really just the setting up of your campaign page. So there will be a deadline for doing that to make sure we don't have empty pages like last year, but it's not for 4 months. So we got plenty of time. Sarah, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just looking through your the tools you've got on your website, and it talks about just the general page and also a more targeted campaign. Did you find last year that nonprofits were more successful if they had, you know, specific targets or programs they were trying to fund as opposed to a general fund campaign?
That's an awesome question, Sarah. And I'd probably call on someone who participated last year who can answer that. I don't know, Christine, or if anybody last year did one or another or did both.
I don't know about others. We did general support last year and we were very successful. And we kind of did it in honor of our 15th anniversary though. So all of our logo, everything we set up our page was in honor of that 15th anniversary, but it was for general support.
Okay.
And I can echo that too. My organization, San Isidro Health, we did it for COVID-19 relief funds at the time. And our campaign was both external and internal since we have 2,300 employees. So we were able to do a matching gift and contest within the organization that was really successful for us as well. So I feel like you can make this work for your organization. It doesn't look the same for everyone. But one thing that really helped us out is really taking advantage of the toolkit that was put together by San Diego Gives and really treating it like a campaign. So we were prepared 2 months out to be able to have, our social media on a calendar, our internal emails on a calendar, our external emails on a calendar. And that just helped so much. And it felt like our entire team was a part of it, not just the fund development team, the philanthropy team. So that's how it worked for us.
Thank you.
We are having a top 10. So last year, one of the things on the page is like a leaderboard, which is cool because the day of, you as a team, because I've got a ton of emails like my leaderboard's wrong, and because it's really like we want. Yeah, I wasn't going to point you out, Adriana, but yeah. But you really want to see where you're at, right? And tell your board and your staff during the day like what you've raised, and it's automatic. It updates as you go, and so we're doing from last year the top 10, and everyone's success came from different things. So they're going to speak on where theirs came from, right? And there's small organizations to large, because one of the questions we get a lot is like, oh, my organization is just way too small. I don't have the capacity. And that's one, the help of the mentorship program to help with that. And two, like you said, there are small nonprofits like Christine spoke about with FACE that did incredibly well. So Gretchen was one of them as well.
Would you mind sharing what you mean by incredibly well?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, maybe I shouldn't use specific words, but most organizations had a goal they were trying to meet, right? You set a goal on your page, and so I'm saying they met that goal or they exceeded that goal. I think the largest, Gretchen, you were, if you don't mind me asking, how much did you guys raise last year?
I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember. I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember specifically, but I do remember one particular story, and that is a donor who was interested in making a major gift. And she said, hey, do you guys have anything coming up? Because I'd like it to go to something. And I said, oh my gosh. And she's a longtime San Diego philanthropist. And I said, yes, there's this great program called San Diego Gives. And so it's a thing, we all like to have a thing for people. People like to give to a particular thing. And so it made her feel so good that it was staying local. She's a local and supporting that. So it's a great thing to have to identify for donors who want to give, but they're not exactly sure to what. That was helpful for us.
Thanks, Gretchen. I think the top few, and it would take me a hot minute to pull up the leaderboard from last year because it's not like accessible online anymore. So I'm knowing my type A self, I probably saved it somewhere, but I think the tops were 25,000. I mean, there was Alzheimer's San Diego was up there as well. So yeah. So when I say very well, they met or exceeded their high goal that they put. Adriana.
Yeah, and because it was in its first year, San Diego Gives, we really had a hard time projecting what that would look like. So for us, we said, you know what? Success looks like $10,000 because we've never done this before. And I know that some of my colleagues in the steering committee had put it in at 25,000 or 35,000 because they already had a matching gift donor and had made their projections from there. So I think it really means different things for different organizations and based on capacity and how much you prepare for it beforehand. I believe that the highest number was 50,000. That was the highest last year. And Alzheimer's San Diego came in at 30,000. San Isidro Health came in at 18,000. So that was success for us. And I know that now that we have that marker, that first year, we're able to build off of it and utilize last year's campaign as a stepping stone to do more this year.
Thanks, Adriana.
I'll add to Sarah, that if you want to talk with one of us about a strategy, about, taking a look at your nonprofit and kind of what your overall fundraising looks like, and if you've done stuff with crowdfunding before and kind of that, there are a bunch of us who are, the nonprofit can be that Christine leads would be happy to do that. And so, and they have like a formal mentoring program, but even still, just to kind of think, how could this fit? And to the questions too that I forgot who asked about, getting volunteer help for this. If you are a small organization and capacity is a concern, I know it is for everybody, but just, to talk to one of us, come to the office hours, that we have and see, because really, the idea is to add value here and to bring in, additional dollars and not kill us all in the process, and really try to be, really as proactive as we can. We are also, which I hadn't mentioned, working with the community foundations to see how we can get donor advised funds to be able to contribute to this. And I think we should be able to use our nonprofit Impact Cubed to test this out a little bit. So for instance, if a donor is really interested in giving to homeless organizations and organizations that serve the homeless, not organizations that don't have a home, that, and may give wants to give a gift of $20,000 or something like that. We do have the capacity, like a community foundation, to accept those funds through Impact Cubed and divide them equally among the organizations who are serving the homeless. That's something that we didn't do last year. So we have actually had the homeless is a real example. We've also had some donors ask about other causes. I don't want to set up unrealistic expectations though, so just know that it's something that we're trying to work around. It's hard with working with donor advised funds because of the nature of this campaign is online, and so, but I think we may be able to work with it as much as we can.
Anyone else have any other questions? Like for the 10th time, I hope that nobody's like, I don't know how to get a hold of San Diego Gives, because that would be silly. But here's the email address in case you don't have it. And again, I think it's really important that's that Mighty Cause email address, because I'll get emails to the info of like, hey, I can't, something like system-wise isn't working. And all I do is just see, I'm sorry, but all I do is say, I don't know how to help you with that. And I CC support. So you can go directly there, and they're wonderful and they respond really quickly. If you don't get a response after a few days, let me know, and then I can go back into it, and get it taken care of a different way. But so if you have questions after today, please send them. If you, like I said, have ideas for anything campaign wise, oh my gosh, I thought of this afterwards, or have you guys thought of this, or could you do this? Please send them on. We're very happy to. There you are, Terry. I see you. Sharon, while you were talking, I had a chance to look at my email. I've got like 10 emails, like, oh, the meeting's at capacity. Like, oh, how do I
know? I know. I'm
okay.
going to be dreaming about this. You don't know what this kind of thing does to me. So yes, I know. Our team is going to work on having the link like right away. So we'll get that out to all of you, and we'll get it out to everybody who was registered.
Sharon, it's totally okay.
I know.
I'd give you a hug if I were next to you. I'll virtual hug you.
Thank you.
I do have a question, just to clarify. Sure. For small nonprofits, we're able to just walk in and, let's say, talk to Christine if we needed to for the small nonprofit. Yeah.
So just to clarify, so we're calling a small nonprofit under $50,000 or less. What is happening is Dominique, who's a part of the nonprofit committee, it's like every Friday when the approvals happen, I go through and find anyone with a budget under that, and I email them and say, hey, there's this great mentorship program, and the goal is that Dominique then sets you up with someone like-minded, like-sized nonprofit who did it last year to help. And then the goal is that they can help you, an hour, 2 hours, however much they're open to helping, right? To be that one-on-one contact for that. So I think that hopefully that answers your question. If you do have a budget under 50,000 and you haven't got an email from me, then please email that info out so we can get you situated with it as well. And again, this is
Thank you.
This is the first year we're doing this. So if you feel like too that you make your budget is 750,000, so drats, you know, you're over it. We'd rather serve those who are interested and want to be served than stick to a dollar, you know, like, oh no, sorry, you're 500,001. So you're SOL.
Yeah, just to clarify, it's 500,000 and below, not 50,000 and below.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, because you said it twice. I just want to make sure that we know that it's 500,000 and below. My organization last year, my organization last year was more than 500,000, but we were a very small organization. And we had, our marketing person was out on maternity leave and things like that. So I used all the resources. So you can always reach out to me at any time. I don't care what your budget size is. I'm here to help you. And I've been there on both sides. So please feel free to reach out to me.
I apologize. I said it twice and I thought I said it right both times. So my apology. I was trying to figure out what Hannah's private message to me was about. I'm like, yeah, that's what I said. So thanks for. I see your message, Nathan. I'll put you in an email together with Dominique.
Great, thank you. I have one other question too. As I was looking at Mighty Cause and their kind of campaign building resources, is dropping in the office hour that the right way to go about if we were interested in kind of working through some of those details?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it'd be something like this right now, right? But more one-on-one or one-on-two, depending on who came to it. But yeah, and the goal is that those people are going to just open up Zoom and be available during that time. And you know, like I said, you pop in, pop out, stay for 5 minutes, stay for 30, whatever you need.
Hey, Lauren, I had an idea.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. And Sharon, don't beat yourself up. We love you. You do so much for all of us. Well, I'm looking at the PR side of things and developing maybe a content roadmap, and it might be fun for all of you to think about different pegs on which we can hang some messaging to really amplify our reach during the course of our campaign. So like for San Diego Mac Foundation, we might have Flag Day or Independence Day or something like that, but it will create a groundswell for all of San Diego Gives when we reach out to folks on those key holidays that might have some relevance to your specific organizations, you know, National Adopt a Pet Week, whatever it happens to be. And if we're all doing that with the same hashtag, in addition to our own hashtags, all of a sudden we rise the tide and we all get a little higher with that. So just an idea that I can work with the PR firm on that if you want, or just come up with a couple of different holidays and tags and pegs that we can use, and you can take them and use them as you please.
That sounds great. Thanks, Terry. Yeah, I think the great thing about San Diego Gives is it's not like this forward, like, here's what you do, go do it and do what I said, right? It's like made by the community for the community. And so it's like, we want everyone's involvement. And so, I mean, it would be amazing for everyone's involvement in even the smallest way. Like, hey, I have this really great X. Do you want to use it? Or, hey, have you ever, like the Canva thing, like we can do so much more when there's 250 nonprofits sharing in helping and providing as a whole than, you know, the handful of us. Well, if there's nothing else, myself and Sharon can stick around if someone has a one-on-one. I say that for Sharon. That's really presumptuous, but if anyone has questions that they don't want to ask in a big group or have something else, but like I said, we'll send out the recording and the slides later today through, hopefully we'll get them 3 times. You'll get them as like registered for the webinar. You'll get them through MailChimp and everywhere else. But thanks you guys so much for coming and participating this year for sure.
Thank you. We're super excited. It's going to be a great event.
Hi guys, I have a question. If I responded to the email about the mentorship program, how soon will I hear back from someone?
Dominique usually is pretty good within a few days. Was it, I assume the email was last Friday?
Yes, it was 9 days ago.
Ooh, okay. What's your organization, Shameen?
Shariah's Closet.
Okay, I apologize for that. We'll make sure you get an answer to that.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
so this is my first time ever doing anything like this with San Diego Gives. So I heard you said about setting up your page. So will the mentorship guidance help me provide support to set up the page?